Well, hello, I'm alone in Finland. This is Eve Online, and I thought I would do a money making video instead of just sort of going over different ways that you can't make money in Eve. Let's talk about some of the ways that you can. So, what I've done for this is I've set up an alpha account, and what I actually did was I went out and I ran the beginning missions, and I'll put little clips of this up here. But I went through, let me show it here. I went through the air career program with this alpha, and I specifically went through the beginning agents for the mining, the mission running. I've forgotten what they call it now. Let's have a look. The mining, the mission running, and the exploration. So, Soldier of Fortune, Industrialist. Was it Soldier of Fortune? No, it was Enforcer, Industrialist, and Explorer. And I went through these ones to get some of the stuff. As you can see, I didn't do much of the Explorer, I just got what I needed. But then the part of this was to get some of these credits to be able to train some stuff up fast. But I also went out and I did a bit of mining with the ship, and a bit of mining, a bit of refining, and then a bit of trading. And the be all and end all of this was I managed to get the money that I needed for the skill, because you can get a lot of these skills, and if I sort of show it here, you'll see what I've got left now between these two places. Is I've got a couple of little blueprints here and a couple of little ships and some small stuff now that I've sold almost everything off. But the whole point of this was to actually get, let's leave that alone, to actually get about 50 million. And I needed 50 million for the skill and for the fit for this ship. I didn't need the ship itself because you get a couple of ventures as you're going through different missions and things. But what I did need was the actual ISK to be able to fit this ship once it's done, and to get the particular skill. Because the skill that we are looking for is this gas cloud harvesting. You need to get this. So if you're an alpha account, for me it has taken 2 days of play, so probably about 12 hours of play in total between the 2 days, to get an alpha skilled up to the point where it's at, so that I can run, so that I've got enough money and I've got the skills to run this particular setup. So let me go through that just first. So the first thing is this, nope, that's the wrong one. Where are we looking? Show info, that's what we're looking for. So this skill in the market is 36. I think it's 39 or possibly in the 40s if you buy and inject it. I came to cheat it and bought it off of the market so that I had the cheapest one possible, and that was how I saved a bit of the ISK to do this, and kept it under sort of 50 million for everything in general. It is a few days working to get this set up. However, once you've got it, we're going to make that money back before the end of it. And remember, this is an alpha account, so this is literally the name of our little character here is Alone in Finland, and all of the skills that we have running at the moment. Where's my skill sheet? There's a button. I'm just not used to looking in this stuff because it's been so long since I actually cared about it. But what we've actually done is we've gotten a few skills here. So, in general, what we needed to get, let me run this down because I actually made a list that's in front of me. In fact, I actually made a skill plan. Show the skill plan contents. So, the bare minimum to run this fit, you need navigation 1, afterburner 1, science 1, power grid management. I think we needed power grid management 2, I can't remember why. We might just need 1. We need the ones that are important. So we needed science 3, we needed mining 4, power grid 3 to be able to fit the things, and then we needed astrometrics. You needed just astrometric 1, but for running the probe launcher. However, I've sort of trained it up a little bit higher, and some of these skills towards the bottom are you kind of need it. Gas cloud harvesting, you need 2 because you want to run 2 harvesters. You can run it with 1, but it's an extra hour and 10 minutes to train. And the way that I actually got the gas cloud harvesting was I saved the skip points from the Air Career program until I bought that skill, and then I just injected that skill. I injected those skill points and trained it up immediately. So what are we looking at from these skills? We are looking at a venture. Nice and simple. We've got 2 gas cloud harvesters on it. We have a little bit of tank, so a medium shield extender and a tier 1 enduring multi-spectrum shield hardener. We have an afterburner, and we have a warp core stabilizer. Now this is important because of travel time for some places. I've got it here because I might take this to different places, but we are not going to low sec, we are staying in high sec for this. And then obviously we have this core probe launcher. I cannot speak tonight. And then I've just put on these rigs to extend the shield a little bit. Doesn't cost as much extra, and it gives us a little bit of tanks just in case. One of the places I do this, it's in a high sec pocket, so you have to go through low sec to get it. But I found a different place, and we're going to do that as part of the examples, the first example, so that I can show you what's going on here. So let's get to it. Now for this example, what I'm actually going to do is I have gone onto the .land maps, and I've gone onto Eve University. And what I actually did was I went to Eve University and I went to the harvestable gas clouds. And I just picked a gas cloud that I'm going to look for, one of the ones that are more expensive. And the easiest way to find that out is to go into the market here. I just want to jump away from where I am, because it is never a good thing to be sat outside G244. And this is the best example of ADHD. I've actually sidetracked myself off of what I was doing. So we're going to set distance from here and then begin our journey. Right. So what you want to do is have a look at the market for the gas clouds. So if we go through this, manufacturing research, gas cloud materials, and you've got fullerenes or booster clouds. Now booster clouds are the ones that you want. They're more expensive in general. As you can see here, you've got fullerenes that are sort of 10, 20, 40, 65,000, etc. But if you go into booster clouds, you'll see 54,000, 150,000, 80,000, 60,000. So this is what we're looking for. One of these booster clouds is a significant amount of money. And they're all, I believe that they're all roughly the same actual size. So volume 10,000, volume 10,000, got an orange there, just going to make sure I'm still jumping. So this is what we're sort of looking for. And what I've done is I've gone on to, let me just find it here, I've gone on to Eve University, and I've picked a gas type, and then on the Eve University page it will actually say the location, and I've picked one that is in both high and low security space, and we're just heading to that now. So a little bit of a montage of the jumps. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here, and I tell you, I usually don't use this camera, but it is just a pain in the backside. How do I get rid of it? There we go. So, we've got scan probes out. And we are going to bring up our scanner. So, scan probes. This is what we're doing here. So I'm going to right, in case you're wondering, I just nearly died. Just choking to death. So I'm going to restart all of that again and explain what's going on. We are now at a place that I want to be at. This particular system, we have a couple of stations, which is a good thing. And we have some cosmic signatures. And all we're going to do is we are going to go through our scanner. I do not want it full screen, I want it floating. I'm going to make it a bit smaller. So it's a good idea to always do this so that you've got more situational awareness in general around about you. And I am actually going to warp off to a bit of distance off of a planet, just so I'm not an easy target for somebody who decides that they want to pop something. And now that I'm here, I'm just going to hit analyze, just in the centre. I'm not doing a spread formation because I can sort of see roughly where they are. This one out here that is close to this wormhole, I am going to assume that it's on the wormhole, because they almost always are. So I'm actually going to go out here first. On the jump gate, sorry. I'm assuming that this is an actual wormhole, because when you get them initially spawning close there, that's usually what they are. So we'll scan down this one first, but I'm looking for gas clouds, and that's all I care about. So this is a point where it would take a little bit of time to get set up. Because we want to have a look and see what is what. And scanning it's just time consuming. And it's luck as well. You're sort of working with the RNGesus and hoping that you get the right numbers. So we're just going to scan this down. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a wormhole, but just in case, occasionally I've had something next to a planet that isn't. So recenter on the target, move the box over the target, move the box over the target, make it smaller, down to 1 AU. Now if it's not a gas cloud, the second that I get a result that shows that it's not a gas cloud, then I'm just going to sack it off. I'm not going to fully scan it down because I don't need it. There's no plans to go into low sec, null sec or wormhole space. There we go, combat site. So don't need that. So then we're going to come over to these ones, and I'm going to bring this over. I'm going to up it one just in case. See if we can find. So it's just this repetitiveness. You just want to recenter it every time and scan them down.
One eternity later.
Righty ho! It is another day and another time. Now this is part of the reason why I'd actually picked a name for this beforehand, or at least an idea for it, and it's something along the lines of 100 million in your first week as an alpha. But this is why I specifically said a week, not an hour, not a day, or things like this, because obviously you have a fair few hours to go through the tutorial and stuff like this as an alpha, and then this is the part that becomes a nightmare. Because scanning for high-sec gas sites takes a while. Now, I didn't expect it to be this long, because the other day when I went looking for one myself on my main account using a normal character, using an Omega character, it was the second system that I went into. I found a gas site. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And when I started mining, I didn't realise how much I would make that quickly. And I was just using... not a venture, but the T2 variant, one of the T2 variants. And I realised that the difference between the two of them is not much at all. You can make the same type in the T1 or the T2 venture, however, the difference is actually the Tech 1 gas groups. There isn't skill requirements for this that boosts it. Now that being said, I have now been through, in that little short montage you've just seen, I went through 6 hours last night of jumping between systems and scanning. Now, I wasn't completely active. It wasn't me completely focusing on Eve. I was watching films at the same time. You may notice, depending on how short it gets clipped, that sometimes I'm sat there for sort of 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes in a system before I sort of get my act together and do something, and it's just because I was watching TV. So it was a semi-AFK activity. Now we're in dangerous space because we're down in 0-0, but as you can see, oh well, local isn't exactly clear, but with the ability of the warp core stabilizer and the natural stabilization that the Avenger has, we should be okay just popping through here, he says with his famous last words before I get absolutely mullered in a gate camp. But this is the main point that I'm doing. Now, just to reiterate, I've also got Dotland maps open on my other screen, and I'm literally following the route. I've programmed in a place in the middle, or roughly in the middle of where I think it's going to be, because you have I'm looking for Kablash nebulas, which pop up in Syndicate, Solitude, Placid and Essence. And the reason I've picked Solitude now, because originally I had picked somewhere, I can't remember, I think it was Essence, which is where we've come from. No, it was wherever we've come from. I think it was Placid now. Now I'm moving to Solitude because it is the furthest away from the populated areas, which is the place that I picked originally on my main, and I think that the reason I got hit so quickly is because of the fact that I was going so far away from normal. So this is what we're trying now, is to get all the way out here and see if we can find a little gas site. Obviously all we need is one little high set gas site and we will be able to make a ton of money, but scanning one down could take a while depending on how long you play. If you're playing an hour or 2 hours a day, it could take 6 days to find one.
Soon after.
Hey, we have one. First hit today. Fantastic. So, here's the plan now that we have found a gas site. Nice and simple. We're going to set up. We are going to mine. Once our cargo hold is full, let's just pull this out. Once our cargo hold is full, our mining hold should I say, we are going to warp to the station and unload. Now, I'm actually going to do this fairly AFK because of A, laziness, and B, having to go and see people in the real world and outside of our house and stuff like this. So there's going to be some little bits where I am AFK for a long time and my gas harvester's shut off, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I think I get about 25 minutes running the gas harvesters with this size of cargo hold, which is where the T2 variants can come in and be better, but obviously this is geared at alpha at the beginning. So let's show this. I'm just going to restart the video to give me a timer. So the actual mining timer just now, oh, we have a gentleman there who is actually harvesting. So I don't want to mess with his cloud. That'll be nice. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to remove that bookmark altogether, because your man there is harvesting it, and it's always good to be nice. You could steal it from underneath him, but I don't want to piss off anybody in the local area, especially because I'm going to be vulnerable with AFK mining. There we go. We got a distance warp to 0.
Warp drive active.
So that's us. Now, if you do this so that you come in and you pick one of the expert skills, remember that the expert skills do not contain the gas harvesting. So regardless, you are going to need to get that skill. Although with the once you've got the gas harvesting, I'm not entirely sure about what I'm going to say, so let me just double check and make sure everything's accurate. So with the gas scoops, they run on the gas skill. However, with the harvester, you need a higher level of mining, but it's still the gas thing. So yep, you can run the Tech 1 gas scoops. I've not engaged the second one there because I'm an idiot. But you can run the Tech 1 gas scoops, gas harvesters and gas scoops on the ships, providing you train that skill. So you can use one of these specialised ones. I believe I've still got one kicking about somewhere. I've got it if I do this. That's the wrong one. Where's my skills? There it is. So we have the free expert enforcer and the soldier of fortune. I would also have an expert system for industrial if I'd completed the entire thing, but I've not completed it all. So if you complete that, you'll get a bit more, and you could use that to up your ability. But remember, the skills don't buy you the ships. So using the Tech 1 barges, you're going to be spending an extra 70 million, I believe, just for the barge itself and then the fit on top of that. But obviously, when you're doing this, if you have to go through low-sec pockets like I've just done, that is dangerous. You are getting through there with nothing but luck. Why has my stuff shut off? I do not know. Just going to pull that back in. What is the distance on these? 6? Don't know what happened there. Now, these systems in HiSec, they don't have rats on them. So these spawns don't have rats, so you don't have to worry about something coming in. However, if you're in the likes of a Sanchez system or something like that, then I'm not sure whether you'll get the rats coming in or not. So just something to be aware of. And then obviously you have the whole thing that you could get popped.
3:28 a.m.
Right, I'm back. How are we doing? 3,700 units. We've got 55 million and it has been 42 minutes. And your man is running me cloud. As is other people. Twats. Why are they running my cloud when there's other ones there? Hey. So we're just docking up here. This is because I'm going back out. I'm running this AFK, and when I say AFK, I'm driving into town. So I think this is a good example of AFK when I'm not in the building or within 10 kilometers of where I'm actually doing this stuff. But so that was 43 minutes, and we got 3,700. So you could probably go, I don't know, 50 minutes, maybe an hour to fill this tank. I could figure out exact numbers if I bothered to look at the math, but I figured a realistic actual thing would be better. So I'm going to shove this here. I'm not going to put the survey scanner on yet. I'm just going to leave that be. And we're just dropping off and undocking. So far we have 56,500,000 and we are mining in an alpha character. So that is a good haul for 40 minutes on alpha. So let's go back. I'm going back to 2. Warping so I land right on top of it. And then I'm just trying to figure out, my drones are there and my stuff is here. Sorry, this is like the worst setup I've got because this is not my normal screen, and I was just making it in a shape that was easier to film and edit and show everything on the screen. So that's why it's all fuckery. These guys are stealing my juice. Right. Orbit at 500. Lock it up. Engage the shields, the stuff, and the mining things. And I'll disappear back out for a little bit. So yeah, that issue I just had before where it turned off was a range issue. Just got to watch that when you set up your initial warp. Luckily I caught that before I left the building. We shall continue.
6 months later!
Hello, this is me from the future. So, things went a little bit sideways here because of everything else that I was doing in real life. And I wanted to just sort of tie it all together so you know what's going on. I left character AFK mining for quite some time, and obviously you can see down on the bottom left of the screen the times of everything that was going on. The full video started the day before, and as I said in the video earlier that I was running through it, it took about 6 hours scanning and I didn't catch anything. I think that was actually about 3 hours, but I'm not quite, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing when I was editing this as well. But it was a significant amount of time. I went through a lot of systems, I didn't get anything. Then, as you can see when I gas mining here, I basically started the game up and within 20 minutes I hit a gas site. So a little bit of an advantage on that one, a little bit of a disadvantage, and I kept it all in because I wanted to show everything that was going on. So at the moment I'm AFK mining here, and the other guys that are mining, between the lot of us, we managed to pop the cloud, and I didn't get the right amount that I wanted to get because I wanted to get 100 mil for the video. So after this I went off, when I came back I saw it floating through space again, and I went and I had a look for another gas pocket, and I did manage to find one, and I got a little bit more, and I'll bring it up in a second how much I actually made from it. But all of this including the training time, so you are talking starting an alpha account, going into alpha, training through multiple training sessions. So I went through the enforcer training session, I went through the industrialist training session and the explorer training session. Not all three, but I did all of 2 of them and then a bit of another one to get the skills. And then I did a little bit of time mining and stuff like this, and in 2 days I managed to get about 22 million. And then I actually cheated because I wanted to get a little bit faster, and I transferred some money across from my main account just so that I could buy that skill, because I needed another sort of 15 mil to get that skill book. So I bought the mining skill book, used the skill points that I had captured to be able to train that to 2 almost instantly, and then fitted the ship and came out here. So that's the sort of main run of it. The other thing that I want to mention is when you're shipping this back, one of the things that I would recommend doing is you want to ship it through any dangerous areas. Obviously I'm in a low sec island, and if you don't need to transfer it through low sec, it doesn't really matter what I'm saying here. But I would bring an industrial, but not bring the industrial through low sec. So bring it to the closest system you can with the station, and specifically you're looking for the Minmatar. Oh, it's the smallest of the Minmatar ones. Second smallest, sorry, it's not the Wreath. It is the Hoarder. So the Minmatar Hoarder Hauler. It has a bonus to gas hauling. What is it? It has a gas. Well, I'm really bad at this today. It has a bay to store nothing but gas in, so you can put a lot more gas into that and move it. So if you are sort of where I am at the moment and you have to transit low sec, park it just on the other side of the low sec, so you have a straight high sec run all the way back to where you want to sell the stuff or store the stuff, whatever you want to do with it, and then use your venture to transfer all the stuff. But don't do it after every mining cycle. Make sure you put the stuff in the station and go back to mining to grab as much as you can while you've got the time and while the gas cloud still exists. As you can see right here, this gas cloud had just popped, but because I was AFK, I just went sailing off into the abyss. So if you do it that way I'm sort of describing, you'll move all of your gas. You're kind of double handling it, but you're moving all your gas in a shorter burst, so moving it through say 5 jumps of low systems, putting it all in one station, and then with the larger capacity vehicle, the hoarder, you can then move it in one run the rest of the way through high sec, where it's a bit safer and you don't have to risk the hauler. If you take a hauler through low sec, you're most likely going to lose it. At the moment, low sec is less populated than it was at the prime of Eve, but it's still not safe. And high sec isn't safe either in general. You can always get ganked, but these systems are far enough out that the chance of that is far lower. And when I was looking at some of the systems on Zkillboard, there was no actual ganks. There was a few miners that lost it, but they all appeared to be wars or within factions, so somebody killing their corp mate, which was just funny. So as you can sort of see from what's going on in the background, I then continued. I scanned down a new site. Took a little bit of time. You can see all of the timings on the left are all in the one row. And I warped to a belt by accident. I was AFK again and didn't realise what was going on. But then we get back into the belt, and we get gas mining again. And the next section that you can see is me after the mining. I'm just going to show you that I then just took the venture straight back to Jita and sold up in Jita. So I sold 470 in the first hit, which was everything that I could fit in a cargo hold, I believe, everything I could fit in the gas bay, and then obviously just multiply the price, because I was selling at the buyer's price as opposed to putting it up for sale. And just taking that and taking what else I had left over at the total, it was 1072 gas that I managed to mine in the time that I was out in this day. And in that time we managed to pick up 130,008,510 ISK from a couple of hours work and a couple of days prep, going from a brand new account. So in total, I started this, let me just check everything and make sure I get this completely accurate, because I don't want to be mislabeling anything. So the total timings that were done for this, I started on the evening of the 12th, going into the character that I'd made before but I hadn't run anything in it, and then I worked through the introduction mission, and I worked through the I think it was the Enforcer first. Haven't opened the video. Then the next day at 9 o'clock in the morning, so I ran for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. The next day in the morning at 9 o'clock, I then went through the next 2 sections of it. So I was just shooting through the not the Enforcer, the other one, Soldier of Fortune, not Soldier of Fortune. The other one aside from Industrial and then Soldier and Fortune. But I ran through that, and then I ran through a bit of the Industrial and Explorer, I think it was. So I ran sort of 2.5 of the air things, and that was specifically to get skill points, so that when I got the new skill, I would pull that in. And then I did some basically buying and selling to get a little bit of ISK, and I think I ran a couple more missions during that day, and I spent an entire day just leveling up the character. Then this all starts, if I am correct, this all starts on the evening of the 13th, when I got everything sorted. So after running missions in the morning, in the evening, I then took the ship out, and that's where you sort of saw the start of this video, where I actually came out to where I was looking for, and I was scanning for several hours. I don't think it was 6, as I said. I think it was closer to 3. But I'd been doing it for so long, and honestly I was so bored with it because of it not getting the results I wanted, and because I've sort of been through this before, so when I'm running in a smaller ship than I'm used to, I just got a little bit bored doing it. So I didn't find anything in that evening, because pot luck, sometimes you just don't find stuff. And this particular day was, let me just get this right, it was a Tuesday, so it wasn't anything particularly heavy. It was just a random Tuesday evening, but for some reason I didn't get anything there. Just the luck of the draw. The next day, the 14th, is where I came in and sort of did all of this mining. So the 14th, let me check here, I started at 10 o'clock, and I started at 11 minutes past 10, and by 20 past 10 I had found the first site and was already mining. And then that sort of just progressed through, and that's what you've seen there. So we finish up having transported everything around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've made over 130 million, and I'm sort of ready to go. And I just decided, and that 2 o'clock in the afternoon, at 2:30, I can't see the time on my preview on the screen, but whatever time is in the bottom left that you can sort of see, that's the timings for it. That's how long I ran to getting everything done. So it was essentially 3 days worth of work. Obviously you heard me, I was running AFK, I was here, there and everywhere to do this, so it wasn't full paying attention from my part. And I've been trying to make a couple of alpha series. There's sort of a few videos sat there, but in general I think this is going to be the start of it, and I'm going to go through it a bit because I think this is the best way to get your start in alpha, because it's a fantastic way of making a chunk of money. For me, playing the first time back in 2005, it was months before I had 100 million. I was excited after about a week and a half when I got my first 2 million. So the economy's changed a fair bit of the game, and this is a way that in 3 days I made nearly 50 times more than my original start in the game. So I think this is a good little thing to have a look at in general. And then lastly, I want to mention a few of the sites that I'm using. So I mentioned Dotlan. Dotlan is a map site. It's fantastic for getting all the exploration information. Then you've got the Eve University site. If you want information on Eve, go and have a look at the university. The only things I've found on there that are inaccurate are some of the level 4 mission reports, especially the burner ones. Don't trust what they say on there for the burners, because a few of them have changed slightly since they were last updated. But everything else, it's fantastic. And if you're doing gas huffing, you want to go into their section where it talks about the gases, and they give you the locations, or the rough locations. You'll still have to scan them down within the regions, but this is the best way to do it. So with that being said, let's jump ahead to the actual Citadel. And once we get into the main G2 system, that's where we actually get selling the stuff. I wanted to make sure that this is in there because I know it's a bit, in my opinion, it's a bit too long for the video, but I wanted to make sure that everything is here, that you can see everything that's going on. So you've seen the mining, you've seen how long, and I've talked about how long it took me to scan down the stuff. I'm giving sort of time references off of my videos as well, and I'm making sure that all of the information is out there, because this is obviously aimed at somebody who is coming in as a brand new person. But obviously with Eve being how big and vast it is, existing players that haven't done this before, this might be a way that you can do it. You can see how cheap it is in Adventure. And after this, the next video, or within the next 2 videos that comes up, I'm going to do the other side of this. So if you're an Omega, how to set up for this, and it's going to be your full Gucci fit. The best sort of tanks, the mods that you can use, and ways around it so that you're still doing it in high sec, but you can maximize what you're making and how you're shifting it. So that's the next section, the next video after this. Obviously, like and comment. I always enjoy the comments. If this was any use, it's good to know that. If you've got other opinions on it, then definitely share them. I'm all about learning information, and everybody's got a different perspective, especially on a computer game like this that can be played so many different ways. And last and most importantly for me, I think it's just a case of, if you've got any problems with it, if you're new to this and it's not working out, just have a look around the community. Try to avoid it, Reddit, because it seems fairly toxic, but have a look through the forums, have a look through the sort of video creators in the comments and that stuff like that. There's tons of great creators out there that are fantastic. Although I've gone after 1 or 2 of them, I am more than happy for a lot of the content that comes out there. I think it's quite good, and I just wanted to sort of adjust some people's narratives, as it were. But we'll get back to shitting on some people, because I saw one the other day that really needs stomped on. But I thought this was sort of a good thing to help people. So if you know somebody who might like to get started, or you know somebody who's just started and they have that problem with the money, give this a show to them, and maybe it'll give them a little bit of help, a little bit of inspiration. Obviously I haven't changed any of the system names or stuff like that. You can see the locations, you can go exactly where I was, but there's also other possibilities, and just try and go with the market. So as you can see there, that's the stuff that's still left in the station that I had before, and the stuff that I brought to Jita. So we sold 57 million, and then in total the value of everything combined after one more transport trip would be up to 130 million and 8,000. So not bad for a few days work, definitely not bad for your first week in the game, and something to think about. Obviously once you know your locations, you're good at scanning, your skills improve, you'll be able to refine this a bit better and make it a little bit more of a sort of industrial run. But I hope that helps. Fly safe if that's what you choose to do. I'll see you next time. Bye.